Everybody's got a price.
Hello and welcome to Sharp Bets and Fantasy Sets. We're here for week 7. Boy, does the NFL season just fly on us. But it is the greatest season in the world. Tim, fresh off his vacation at Disney World in Florida. Me, fresh off my 35th birthday where I went to see Air Supply in concert, one of my favorite bands of all time. I don't care who laughs at that, it is what it is. And Sir, fresh off Niners bye, right?
We ain't lose, you know what I'm saying?
Little though thing, since you have the pink on for breast cancer awareness, I didn't even notice because my brother brought us my attention. How come they don't do the pink anymore for breast cancer awareness?
It's true.
They haven't done it in 5 years because, I didn't even notice when Devin Still, the Bengals player, his daughter had that cancer. He wrote a letter to the NFL. Can we expand it beyond breast cancer for other cancers? So they kind of just made it a awareness month, cure month.
Okay.
In 5 years, though, wouldn't have even noticed. I always thought they were pink. Just to throw that in there. So let's get into week 7 now. Both your teams had a bye, so nothing to really speak about on that end. So you couldn't lose, which is great. We'll start with my game, the Cowboys-Pats, which was arguably the game of the week. What a thriller. The Cowboys finally get a win in New England, which I think it was the first time since the late 80s. It looked like they were going to lose, looked like they were going to win. And Dak, once again, proving he's worth the money, just showing up big time. So also, Tim, Sir, and I covered because of that late touchdown, which we'll get to later, which is big. So, what was your thoughts of that game? Do you feel differently about the Cowboys this year as opposed to those years where they were known to choke? Any other year, you feel like they lose that game, right? And, how do you feel about the Pats? Tim?
To be honest, I didn't get to watch most of the game because I was walking around Disney like a fucking jerk off. It's awful, by the way. If you can avoid walking around Disney, I would definitely go against it. My legs are on absolute fire right now. But I did happen to see the end in overtime. So I didn't see any of the plays leading up to it, but I saw the Cowboys march down the field. Dak hit CD wide open, walk in, touchdown. So they look good. I'll tell you what. I don't know how the rest of the game went, but the Cowboys are for real. I don't know who's betting against them to win the East at this point. They've got a real shot to. You say they're only going to make it through one round. They could make it to the NFC Championship game pretty easy.
They could get to the Super Bowl. Romo said that. They have a team built for it, but I don't know if they will. I'd be happy with a first-round victory, just I think that's what my expectations were going into this year realistically. The one thing I'll say, they haven't had a cornerback as good as Diggs since Terrence Newman. Since Dion, maybe. Honestly, a playmaker like this, I haven't seen in 25 years with Dallas. And I think defenses now are going to give up points. We know that. You're going to give up 24 points a game. You need these guys who make these plays, and the Cowboys have that, which I think is very beneficial in a postseason game. In a game down the stretch, just got to make a play, force a fumble, force an interception. Sir, I see you shaking your head as a 90s, 80s rivalry with the Cowboys. I know you can't be too happy with their success.
No. I mean, listen. First of all, Cowboy fans, you talk about Giant fans. Cowboy fans are right behind you.
Yes.
They get happy for no damn reason, bro.
Sure.
Listen, y'all 5-1, but really, who have y'all beaten? Really,
Chargers.
Honestly,
Chargers.
Okay, y'all. Okay. I will give you one respectable victory this whole season. One. I'm saying, but honestly, you taped Tampa. They gave you out of business. I'm saying, yeah, you beat the Chargers, but I mean, when y'all start playing some competition, then I'll listen. I'm not taking anything away from him. Trayvon Diggs, he's been a monster. He's been picking people off left and right. On Sunday, he made a nice little pick six, and then the next play proceeded to get burnt like toast. So I don't know. Just until they start beating some competition like actual teams, because we all can agree the NFC East ain't the best division in football.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I think Trayvon Diggs just intercepted that comment while you were saying it. I don't know what happened there.
He might have, but then he about to get burnt on this next comment. And I was
That was the safety's fault, though. That safety should have intercepted the ball. I don't know what he was doing, but anyway. But I think you're right, though. They haven't played anybody great. They won in LA, but that was week 2. You can't really take much. But then they beat the Panthers, which at 3-0 it looked good, but now it doesn't look so good. But I think it's the way they're winning, and that's why I preface it, because there were years that the Cowboys were a good team, like with Romo, and they would beat teams they had to beat, but when they'd win, it was a blowout, or they didn't come through in those close games. Now they're winning these games that in the past, as a Cowboy fan, you're like, how are they going to fuck this up? And you don't see that anymore. You're almost like, all right, how are they going to win this game? It's a different feel, I think.
Man, I thought that game was way too close for comfort. Like, I thought they were going to beat the brakes off New England, but
that's a tough place to win, though, man. I mean, the Bucks went in there and only scored 19 points. 19, that's not easy, bro. And Belichick's still a great coach, but let's go.
Understand. But I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a little. They could have lost that game.
What you're annoyed at is that it was a close game and Cowboys fans acted like they went in there and
you know what I'm saying. You act like, oh, we won. We won.
That's what you're annoyed at.
Calm down, relax, take it easy.
Hey, we haven't beat the Pats. Yeah, we haven't beat the Pats since 1996. So it was a little fun. But let's go to the Pats. So they played good. Mac Jones looked. Listen, it's a lot of check down. He was like 12 for 12 at one point, 11 for 11. And, you're watching the game. It's not that impressive. And I know Belichick's just trying to, put Band-Aids on stuff here. They're still a decent team, but, I know Peter Rosenberg mentioned on the Michael Kay show that a lot of the point spreads now for the Pats are based on the past. Do you think there's a truth to that? They shouldn't have been only a +3. They're not that good, but this notion Belichick's there. They're still the Pats. Do you think it's a fake aura around them and they're just not the same, right?
I mean, for what it's worth, they've been playing all the teams that they've been playing very closely. I mean, they took you guys to overtime. They only lost by 2 to the Bucks. I mean, I don't know if the line is strictly based on the past, but I could see where you think that comment makes a little bit sense. Right. I think the lines have been exactly where they need to be.
Tim, let me
especially because I keep betting against them and winning.
You're a Jet fan. You put up with 19 years of Tom Brady or whatever it is. It's not the same feel, even though you lost earlier in the season. I mean, you as a Jet fan, you go into this year or these seasons now all right, these aren't 2 automatic losses, right?
That's correct, even though they're going to be. But, yeah, at the beginning of the year, I thought, maybe 1-1, depending. But, not to preface my picks here, but there may be a pick against the Jets later on. We'll see.
Your thoughts on the Pats? Are they done?
No, honestly, I would say with Mac Jones, I feel like he's the anti-Zach Wilson. He's trying to win boring. Wilson is trying to put up numbers and trying to do everything for himself. Mac Jones is let me not make mistakes. Let me just do little dink and dunks, and just be conservative and not try to lose the game instead of trying to go out there and win it for my team.
Right, and what people don't fail to realize too is we see this in other sports. When Jordan left Chicago, that next guy to come in, that's not easy to do. Jeter at shortstop. I mean, you could go on forever. Let's be honest. This guy's taking over a legend. It was easy for Aaron Rodgers, but that's once in a lifetime. The Dolphins still haven't replaced Marino. The Jets arguably still haven't replaced Namath. So this shit's not easy, and he's doing a pretty good job because you miss Brady, but you don't feel like this Pats team would be 6-0 with Brady. If that makes sense.
I don't know. Hey, man, that's still Tom Brady, though, bro. I think he could do some things with that roster. You know what I'm saying?
Let's move to our Monday night game, which, by the way, I won on a +5.5 with the Titans. I actually said they'd win outright. You can rewind the tape. So I'll start with you, sir. It is 4th and 1 on the 6-yard line. The Bills are down 3. There's only 20 seconds left. Now the Bills could go for it. They have 2 timeouts left. They get the first down. They could pretty much go for a touchdown in the final 10 seconds. Kick a field goal, game's going to overtime. 4th and 1, they go for it. Josh Allen runs a sneak. His feet slip out from under him. Titans stuff him, and the game's over. Do you have a problem with McDermott not getting the field goal? Are you okay with them putting the ball in the MVP's hands?
I mean, absolutely. No, you go for the W. I mean, listen, why? Because he can kick the field goal, go into overtime, and they can still take the L. So why not go for the dub? Get the win and get out of there.
Tim?
I mean, granted, yes, it sucked that he slipped and
Yeah.
he got stuffed, but I mean, if you run that play like 10 times, I'm pretty sure he might get that first down. Probably,
yeah.
A majority of the time, and maybe not 9 out of 10, but.
And if you run a sneak with Tom Brady, he's getting a 30-yard gain somehow. That's just what always happens with him. Tim, do you have a problem with it or no?
Oh, I have no problem at all. I watched the whole fourth quarter of that game. We got back to the hotel lobby bar. Game was still on. I'm sitting down, I'm watching, and Tennessee gets the ball, and it's the Derrick Henry show, and there's no stopping them. Right. They march right down the field, and they score a touchdown to go ahead. Bills get the ball. They march right back down the field. It felt like whoever had the ball last was going to win the game type of deal. And at that point, when it's 4th and 1, not only the play before when it was 3rd and 1, did they get the first down, and I think they got screwed out of the spot.
They didn't get that. Rewatch it. They rewatched it. They didn't get that.
Yeah, it was very close, though.
It was close, but they didn't. His left arm, the ball was in his right arm when his shoulder hit. So it was a great spot. But I'm with you, Tim, and here's why. Because if let's say you do take a field goal, now the game is between a coin toss because you did get the feeling if the Titans won the toss, they were marching down scoring. So you're almost better off. Let me take a shot with Josh Allen rather than flipping a coin.
Yeah, and Josh Allen, I'm pretty sure, sir, you said he wouldn't get it 9 out of 10 times. I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 times. If his foot doesn't slip, it's an easy first down. I mean, the only reason he gets hit in the backfield is because he almost face plants right into the ground. Yeah. He goes to take a step forward and just lands. That's it. That's the only way he doesn't get the first down. Just, unfortunately, bad luck. And, like I said, 9 out of 10 times it's a first down. What they do after that, who knows? Do they score a touchdown? Exactly, yeah. No, you don't know. Then they might end up having to kick a field goal. Yeah. But no, 10 out of 10, you take that chance with Josh Allen to get a yard. And, unfortunately, this one time it doesn't happen, but I don't think that's going to change the way that McDermott's going to coach going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you can't question him. He went to an AFC Championship last year. I have no problem with it. So let's instead of going to our picks right away, let's go to DFS first. We'll do our picks last here. We'll do DFS. I didn't do too well last week. I think the lineup I mentioned, I did a completely different one. So I didn't win, which was stupid because I should have just went with the one I want. So Tim, we'll start with you at DFS.
All right, let's give a shout out. The SB DFS lineup that took the crown home was other Tim, fake Tim. Petrowski beat me by 3 points or whatever. I also had to change my lineup out because I wasn't very confident in Scary Terry coming up on the injury report on Friday. So I had switched out Heineke at quarterback and Scary Terry and put in CeeDee Lamb and some other bum at quarterback, Patrick Mahomes or somebody. So they almost... Yeah, some other bum. Yeah, whatever. Fucking, he led me to a second place. You know what second place is? The first loser. We're not about being the first loser here on Sharp Bets Fantasy Sets. We're gonna come get that money.
Well, let's not say our records then when we get to the picks.
No. You could say our records. You could say how we did last week. Oh yes, you can. Starting out with our DFS lineup. Yeah, you mentioned him before, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. 7,500 against the football team. Football team is not very good against the pass, and I'll take Aaron Rodgers against just about any bad defense. And I'm pairing him with the uncoverable Devontae Adams at 8,900. And my dart throw, Alan Lazard scored a touchdown last week, 4,200 against a bad defense. Let's see if it sticks. Bouncing back to my running backs. Underperforming. 5,100. Miles Sanders against the Vegas Raiders. They've reported in Philly that they need to help with the run game. And I think this is going to be the week where they finally stick to the run game. At the end of the last week's game, they finally gave Miles Sanders a little bit of run, and they marched right down the field and scored the touchdown to win the game. So I think they're going to stick with it. Running back 2, right now I have Le'Veon Bell in at 4,500 against Cincy because I don't believe that Tay Train is playing. If by chance Latavius Murray is playing, then I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert at 5,200. The last wide receiver I have, I'm going to take Chris Godwin, 5,900. against the Bears. He's got 12 red zone targets, and Gronk is still, I think he's still out, so that opens up the targets to still be there for him in the red zone. Tight end, Dallas Goedert, 4,600 against the Vegas Raiders. Finally, he's alone. They've eliminated this Ertz and Goddard connection. So Goddard as the number one tight end. All the reps are his. I'm expecting a big game because I know Eagles fans are still not happy that they got rid of Ertz, and I think the front office there is going to tell the coach, hey, make sure you get Goddard some touches so we can, make the fans okay with getting rid of their tight end hero. For the flex, I've got 2 picks. One if the running back situation stays the same, another one if it changes. So I got Darrell Henderson at 6,600 against Detroit, and then heaven forbid Tay Train plays at running back, then I'm going to go either Kyle Pitts at 5,900 or Darrell Williams at 5,800. And to round out my team, we're going to go the Atlanta Falcons, 2,700 against Tua Tebow's Miami Dolphins.
There you go. All right. Are you going to put that exact lineup in, or are you going to ditch it on Sunday?
Hey, like I said, I always put my lineup in Sunday morning. Heaven forbid something changes, somebody gets hurt. One of the whether one of the games doesn't look too good for fantasy purposes, make your changes. But this is as of right now, this is the lineup I'm going with.
Yeah. To that point, though, I made last week hurt me a little bit because I gave a good lineup out, and then Sunday I just decided to go tinkering and started messing around with things, and all my moves blew up in my face. Like originally, I was like, "Oh, let's go Joe Burrow," and you know what I'm saying, because he's been put up numbers, and I was like, I tinkered a little bit. I was like, you know what? Nah, Chiefs can't stop nobody. Let's take out Burrow. Let's put in Heineke. Let's save some dollars and let's upgrade some other people. Well, that did not work. So you know what? This week I think I'm just going to stick with this lineup and run with it. So at quarterback, I got Sam Darnold, 5,900. Did y'all see what the Giants did last week? They couldn't stop us, fellas. Like, they were throwing the ball around the yard, giving up points left and right. So I'm going to pick on the Giants in this lineup. At running back, Mr. Chuba Herbert, 6,100. Again, going against the Giants, they ain't stopping nobody. At receiver, DJ Moore, 7,100 to pair with Darnold. Why not? And my other running back, Darrell Henderson, versus Detroit, 6,600. He's been a monster. He's been, when they're getting close, they just pound the ball with Henderson. So look for him to get in the end zone, put up some yards. At receiver, Cooper Kupp, 8,400. This is a revenge game for Stafford. He's coming to face his old team, and no matter who's you playing against, Kupp's been putting up numbers. My third receiver, Mecole Hardman, 4,300. I just want a part of that Chiefs offense because in what could be another high-scoring event or a high-scoring game. At tight end, give me Zach Ertz. Same face, new team, 3,900. Like that Arizona offense, they got a little easy matchup this week. Maybe they might try to get him involved. Little short passes. He might not know the playbook, but he should be able to get open and maybe catch a rock or two. As a flex, I went with Devontae Booker, 5,500. Somebody's got to do some work for the Giants. He's been playing majority of the snaps. He's been getting little pass out the backfield. So. At 5,500, it's good value. And a defense, y'all know I don't like paying it for defenses, so I went with the Washington football team at 2,200. Why not? They might get maybe a sack or two. I doubt a pick because Aaron Rodgers is pretty good, but maybe if they give me 5 points, the rest of the line should do the work.
I agree with that. I like your cheap defenses too. I've gone with that method. All right, for QB, I'll go with Pat Mahomes, the bum, as Tim referred to him as, for 8,400. I went high with the quarterback here. I figured the Titans defense, this is going to be like a 41-40 game. It'll probably be 9-6 now that I said that. Running backs, I'll go with Cordell Patterson, 6,300. He's back off the bye week. He's a receiver running back. He's been tearing it up lately. I think that's good value. James Conner, I'll go with 5,600. He's been getting some touches lately. Wide receivers, Jalen Waddle, 5,600 after his big game last week. Might as well keep the train rolling with him. I also like Hunter Renfrow. I went with last week, 4,800, didn't do much, but I do like him versus the Eagles defense. It's a good value. And then I'm going 3,400, Deshaun Jackson. I think Stafford, it is a revenge game. He's going to take 1 or 2 deep shots. Jackson's good for that. And I ran out of money. Flex, Devontae Smith, 5,400, Eagles versus the Raiders. These are weird games. The Raiders are a weird team. That's why I'm staying away from that game picks-wise. Raiders could go into Denver, beat them, and then come home and lose to the Eagles. I just think that this is a good pick for wide receiver there. Kelsey, tight end, 7,600, pairing them with Mahomes. And cheap defenses, the Jets, 2,400 I'm going with. And is that a preview to my pick for later? I don't know. We'll find out. But we will start with our parlay picks right now. So the standings, I am 12-5-1, which is incredible. Second place, Tim, 8-9-1. Third place, Sir, 7-10-1. And last, Nick, 6-12. Maybe that's why he couldn't make it this
week. Is that why he ain't going over? Yeah, word.
So Nick
last... so bad, he's like, yo, I ain't showing face.
Nick last week went 0-3. He had Buffalo minus 5.5, Tampa Bay plus 6.5, which screwed him because the Eagles went for 2 and covered. And then he had the KC over. We'll have Nick's picks later, or we'll tweet them out, or basically we won't lie and let him off the hook. Tim went 3-0 last week with Dallas minus 3. The Rams crushed the Giants minus 10, and he had the Seattle hit over on an overtime field goal. Got lucky there. Sir went 2-1, lost with the KC over, won with the Tennessee Chiefs over, and won with Dallas minus 3. I went 2-1. I went Tennessee plus 5.5. Rolled with Dallas again, as we all did, except Nick. And Cleveland, I lost, who just got steamrolled at home. I thought it'd be a lot closer than that. And if it wasn't for a Hail Mary at the end of half, that game it wasn't even as close as it was. And it's really hurting Baker Mayfield's contract, especially since they won last night with Case Keenum. So we'll see about that. Let's start with the picks here. I'll go last since I'm first. We'll go from the bottom up. Sir, start it off, man.
Well, you know what? So there's a couple of things I'm going to start learning. Like, take the Cowboys, but they're on bye because they've been covered. Second thing is, Giants, I'm picking on y'all. I got Carolina minus 2.5. Again, Carolina got off to a 3-0 start, and then they started to not look the greatest. Best way to feel all better, go play the Giants. That's just a get-right game. I got them at minus 2.5. My second one, I got the over in Cincinnati, Baltimore. I mentioned before, Joe Burrow has, I think, 2 touchdown passes each game this season so far. Lamar and company, they've been putting up points left and right. So it's a division game, so those are usually a little close for comfort. But over 46.5, I like that number. And the last one, you mentioned it, KC, Tennessee, over 58. But KC can't stop. Listen, I thought KC's defense, but apparently Heineke can't score against anybody apparently. So, but now you got Derrick Henry coming to town with Tannehill and them boys. Their defense is still not that great. Mahomes will probably put up his 30. So, Tennessee put up 28, 29. Let's see.
All right, sounds good. Maybe you should stop doing over and unders and just go at points and straight up games like me.
Nah. Nah.
Tim, Mr. 3-0, what do you got this week? Can you keep the hot streak going?
Probably not. But you know what? We'll try anyway. All right, I'll start off with the one spread game. I saw that it just went to 6.5. Makes me feel even better because when I looked at it, I had the Pats minus 7 against the Jets. If you remember, not too long ago, the Pats just beat the brakes off of the Jets, 25-6. Not much has changed since the last time they played. Neither team has gotten better or worse. I don't see anything that's going to change for the Jets. I don't think they could play nearly as bad, but even if they put up 14 points, 25-14, you're still losing. You're not covering 7. So I'm going to go with the Pats minus 7 or minus 6.5, whatever you can get them at. And now I'm going to go to.
So am I locking you in at 7 or 6.5?
You can lock me in for whatever you want.
It's 6.5 right now, right? So
we'll 6.5 right now.
6.5.
So, my second pick, I'm going to go 1 over and 1 under. I know Sir is mad at me for taking an under, but I have to do it. I got to win. The over 51 in the Rams and Lions game. You're talking about 2 quarterbacks that are part of a revenge game, Stafford and Goff. They're going to be slinging the ball around. They want to prove that, they were the better QB in that deal. 51 is, not a lot of points with these 2 offenses. I just think that's a guarantee over. My under game, under 47.5, the Falcons and the Dolphins. Both of these offenses do not look too good. I mean, you can't play the Giants every week. And the Dolphins coming back from overseas, they don't get a bye. No, they get to they get to play the next week, which makes no sense for what it's worth. I don't know. 24-21, that's a lot of points for these offenses, but that's still an under. So I'm hoping that's the score. You know,
yeah, I agree. That's a high over. All right, let's go to me right now. I am taking 2 road dogs and 1 home dog. So let's start with our first game. I'm going straight up against Tim. I'm actually going to go with the Jets plus 6.5. Coming off a bye week here, the Pats are exhausted from this loss from Dallas. I think that this is a game where the Jets actually come play. I think it's a statement game, and I like the fact that Wilson and Saleh have had 2 weeks to prepare for this, and I really want to believe that eventually versus rookie quarterback, something's got to give versus Belichick because he owns them. And even if they don't win, I like this like 2017, maybe an overtime game actually. So I'm going straight up against you, Tim, with that one. Another game, road underdog again. If you watched the Packers Bears last week, the Bears defense had Rodgers running. That game was pretty close. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Brady. Brady can't move like Rodgers. This is a plus 13. I don't care if it's in Tampa. I don't care if Tampa had 10 days to prepare. I am going with the Bears plus 13. You're telling me I could go 27-17. I still cover this. Plus, Brady has 1 loss versus the Bears. It was last year with Tampa versus same Bears defense. This is the type of defense Brady does not do well against. That Khalil Mack pass rusher type defense. Last game, I'm going to Monday night. I think that the Saints get the same privilege that the Pats have gotten because of their reputation. They're a 4.5-point favorite at Seattle on a Monday night. I don't know what the Saints have done to earn that aside from week 1. They lost at home to the Giants. They've been inconsistent. The Seahawks have looked pretty good with Geno Smith. They could have won last week in Pittsburgh. They could have won the week before when Russell Wilson went out. So a plus 4.5 at home on a Monday night in a must-win game in that division where they're 2-4 already. Give me Seattle plus 4.5. Even if they lose, it could be a 27-23 game. So those are my picks. 3 road dogs. You'll be rooting against me because I need some losses in the columns. I don't have Nick's picks, but we will get them on Twitter, and hopefully he could catch up in the stands as well. That's our picks. Let's talk about one game before we go for next week. Let's talk about the Colts-Niners game because this is an interesting one. The records aren't great, but they're must-wins for both teams. The Colts have looked better than their record is. Frank Reich teams tend to get better as the season goes. And your Niners are in a real must-win game here, sir. How do you win this game?
You score more points than the other team.
That's a smart move. That's a start.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've never seen a team lose by putting more points. I'm just saying. But first, I mean, just got to get the offense in gear. I mean, all season, offense hasn't really had that, 30, 40-point outburst. So,
yeah,
I don't know. They got to get the offense in order. I mean, Debo's been putting up doing work, but like the running game, they've been rotating running backs in and out of the backfield, like a carousel. So
this is a game
the defense what's up?
I like the Colts in this, but I didn't want to pick it. Like it's a weird line.
Yeah.
4.5.
I mean, the defense has been playing good ball, but as I said, sometimes they're on the field too much, so they gotta.
Yeah.
I don't know. They gotta get the offense in order. Like I don't know, call different plays or something. But
it's an
like last week. I mean,
yeah, it's an intriguing game because like the teams are better than the records are, and they're entertaining. They have stars. Like you tune in for Jonathan Taylor, Carson Wentz, or Trey Lance. So it's a really weird game. I'd be nervous if I was you though.
So Jimmy G is going to be the quarterback in this game for the Niners, and for whatever reason, their offense just looks a lot. I'll say it more fluid, that more confidence. It's just something about the offense when Jimmy G's in the game versus when Trey Lance was in the game. They just look a lot better. I don't know if that's
It definitely looked a lot different because with Trey, I feel like all they do is hike the ball and either hand it to the running back or Trey will run off and do a quarterback option play. Like there wasn't really many pass attempts by Trey. So with Jimmy, at least he's not going to run the ball 15 times like Trey did. I mean, I don't know if Trey did 15, but he's not going to run it as often. Where he'll actually drop back and actually hit his open receivers.
I think the point you're trying to make is it's going to be less obvious on what they're going to do on offense.
Exactly, yeah.
Niners, so that the defense can't just be like, all right,
You can actually
we're
execute
going to
the
put
play
8 in a
action
box
a lot more, because a lot of times with Jimmy, like he would hit play action, like he'd fake it off, everybody would bite in, and then he hit somebody over the top, whether it be an Ayuk or a Debo or some. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. The offense has got to get going, because like it was like last game against the Cardinals, the defense held Kyler to 17 points.
Right.
But the offense, every time, like they couldn't get solid drives together.
Can I ask you this before we go and we end this episode? If you lose this week and the Cardinals are 7-0, which they're probably going to be, do you just start Lance from this point on?
Gotta wait for him to get healthy. That's the big key. I assume when he gets healthy, he will be the starter. They already made the move, albeit because of their injury, but I think you know what you have in Jimmy G, and you got to find out what you have in Trey Lance.
So you have in Jimmy G, you got a guy in the NFC Championship you only allowed to throw like 11 times because you didn't want him to lose a game. That's the guy you have. You know what I mean?
It was also Raheem Mostert, I believe, went for like 200 yards that game.
Correct.
So, I mean, when your running back is cooking the other team's defense, like you look at Derrick Henry. Like Tannehill doesn't need to let it, but when you got Henry running for like 300 yards at a clip, you don't need Tannehill to do much. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gashing him, why pass?
All right, so enjoy the games. There's not too many good ones on the schedule. There's about 4. I know other sports shows have mentioned the 4 o'clock games are garbage. You got the Raiders, Eagles. That's a little intriguing, but we'll see you back here next week. I don't know if I'll be on, but who the hell knows?
Don't quit your day job, Scott.
Yeah.